In this video I'm going to show you how to view the results on a Google form and how you can utilise those results to kind of help understand students and what they understand. Now I've switched to a Year 7 class just because in this class we've got some real results. This is what a student will see. They'll see the end of year assessment that you've built. When they click on the end of year assessment, they'll be taken to this screen. They can view previous scores. These assessments never disappear. These assessments will always be there. They can access them and see these at any point. If you watch one of my previous videos, I talked to you about how to set it so they could only have one attempt. That means that they can only do this once, they can't do it again. You can change it so they can have multiple attempts at the same quiz, and they can see their answers like this. So you can see which answers they got right. It's got all that feedback that we set up already. That could be YouTube videos, it could be links to websites, which gives them that little bit more information to help. Now, if I go down to this one here, you'll see this is an example where we can see the results. In the bottom right hand corner, you'll see an Edit This Form button. If I click on this, it will take you to the Edit View. Just to note that once students have started answering these questions, you can't add any questions or change them because that won't affect the students. They'll still see the old version of the assessment. So if I click on the Responses tab at the top, you can see some information about responses. I've got 272 responses, and first of all you get some insights. So you get your mean score, your average score, and your range of scores. So if you click on these, you can actually see who got those scores. That's really useful so you can target intervention. I've scrolled down the page now just so that you can see some of the more information without the students' names appearing. You can see each of the different questions and how the students answered them. So here's one example. Should you add people you know and don't know on social media? We've got 269 students out of 270 who have said no. We've got one student who said yes. If you click on that bar there, that will take you to the student and you'll be able to find out which students said that. Here's an example of a different type of question. This question here is a paragraph question and you can see all the answers that the students have put. So there's 270 responses there. So that's a massive one. There is a different one here. This was a short answer response question. You can see all the answers that students have put. So a list of the people you could tell if you're worried about something online. And these are students' answers and what they have put in this question. There are a few other tabs that can be useful. There's Question tab. This shows you individual students' questions. It's not really that useful and we don't tend to use that one. This one is really useful though, the Individual Student tab. This shows you individual students' responses. You can search for their responses and you can actually change the point score. If a student feels upset that they've not got a mark for something, you can go and change that just here. Or this gives you the opportunity to mark an extended answer question for each student. So this is one student's response. You can see at the top just here, we can move through different students just by doing this. And it will change the student. I know that's been blurred out so you can't see it. But if you do click on this box here, you can actually search for an individual student using their username. Here's an example of one student's work. You can see exactly which questions they got wrong and which ones they got correct. If I scroll down, you can see they've got this one wrong and they can see the correct answer as well. You can change, if you think they should get more marks, you can change their score by changing the score just here. So you can change that to 1 and they'd get an extra point and they would see that on their score. Here is an extended answer question. So it's one of those long paragraph questions. You can see the students got 3 out of 6. You can see the individual feedback that I've given to the student and their answer. Now to add feedback to a question and to mark these, you can just click on this button just here and you can type in your answer or your feedback just here. You can also add a link or a YouTube video if you want to add some therapy or any extra support that you think would be necessary for a student just there. It's worth noticing that you can print students' responses if you want to. You can delete an individual student response, so if they've accidentally closed the test, you can delete their response and they can have another go again. There are a few other bits and pieces that you can do, but I'm going to now show you how to use this data in Google Forms. In Google Classroom, sorry. So, here's my classroom. Remember that I have a grades book here. We're going to have a look at that and how that works. The first thing we have to do is we have to bring all the grades into Google Classroom. We're going to do that by clicking View Assignment. Once you're in this view, you need to click Import Grades. This will bring up a box. Probably you won't be able to see because some of it will be blurred out. Click Import, it will take a couple of seconds and it will import all those grades. Mine have already been imported, you can see them down the side here, you can see all the students. More useful is if we go to the grades book, it will then bring all the grades into these columns for the students. You can delete anything that you don't want in this column just to make it useful, and you can see the improvement in grades for the students.